Maria, let's just go over the handout. I really like the revisions that you made to this. So just a few quick little things. I'm wondering if this should be completely rewrite my section right here, just to emphasize that. All right, and yeah. Oh, and then right here, just to make it a little bit clearer, say I based, you know, I followed the format of the articles that I read. Are you sure? And instead of that's a little bit unclear pronoun reference. Are you sure we're supposed to follow the format you used in another class? Uh, yeah, but I think this is really good. This brings up lots of things, and I think is really provocative. Now, if we're thinking about using this as a handout in class, I think the next section on what problems did you notice on this team? We want students so the goal of this next part should be to really persuade students that this is a train wreck, that it's a disaster. So what I might do here is go poor quality product. And instead of right now, you're kind of telling them the answer. Instead of that, let's just use it as a prompt for discussion. So poor quality product, um, and then maybe have them rank this to say very much, a major problem, somewhat of a problem, not really a major problem. Same thing for inefficiency, bad morale, and then maybe let's add one that they isn't really a thing, like this is slack or low effort. And then, so by having students kind of commit whether or not it's a major problem or not, I think that'll kind of spark a really good discussion to have. Um, and then we can say, yeah, no, I think everybody was kind of trying to, put in effort. Uh, they were acting out of goodwill here. In this section, I think it would be really effective to refer back to the scenario. Uh, so, and I think this is a little vague, get on the same page about deliverables. Let's get more specific and say, uh, discuss a model before any writing is done, or maybe find and discuss and have a conversation about models before anything is done. And then you can refer back to the scenario and say this would have eliminated a lot of the problem. Then as a separate strategy, I think generate a straw document. Uh, so first find a model, next do a straw document that lists for each section sort of main things that should be in it. So get them thinking about that. Um, Then so we're going to assume that students have already had the workshop on task schedule. So I think the strategy here is make time for feedback and revision in the task schedule, and then refer back to the scenario that part of the problem is the group didn't build in time to discuss what was wrong. Um, Here, I would make this even more specific. Include guidelines for how the format of the feedback, and say there's three main formats: implement revisions, provide global comments, or maybe two. Uh, or you provide some. Give them some decide. How feedback will be delivered and who will implement feedback, um, and explain how that could have prevented the bad morale from here. Okay, um, this is a little vague. So I agree with this philosophy. I think this one might benefit from a little more discussion. All right. So, and I love the activity here at the end. Yeah, maybe though they need a little bit more guidelines. So, imagine you have 3 weeks to do something. Uh, you're writing a 5-page document together. You can build it on off of this scenario, but build in the milestones so that your group won't end up in a situation like Rajit's group. So providing a little bit more structure for this. Now let's talk overall just about where your project is. And whoops, that's not what I meant to bring up here. So kind of an outline of maybe your dissertation. So the article that I provided feedback on in the other video would probably become chapter 2, with chapter 1 as an overview, introduction. Then we're kind of working on with this handout towards the implementation chapter. I am thinking, so this corresponds with things that I'm doing in collaboration with other people here at the university, and we're trying to build a lot of OLI modules to support collaboration along the lines of Martha's CollabU, but doing some stuff for some of this project management things. So I am planning on applying for a Simon grant to work on some of these things this summer. I think this would be a great thing for you to include as part of the dissertation. Think about it in terms of another article where we could talk about creating these modules and videos, and maybe collecting a little bit of data on them. I think in terms of going on the job market, it would establish you as someone who has some technology, some experience working with building online modules that would look really great for any kind of technical communication position. Now, and I'm not sure about chapter 4. I think there's lots of options. We should discuss this. But just to kind of give you an overview of how I'm seeing these things play out. Now, this probably means that realistically, we're looking at you going on the job market in fall 2020 and not 2019. I know we had discussed that as part of a fast track. I still think you should look at the job market in 2019 to see if there's an ideal job, something that's out there. Go ahead and apply for it. But I do think that you're going to be at your strongest in 2020. And I think you'll have a lot under your belt, and that you'll have a very competitive application at that point. We can discuss this more face to face, and you might have some things that are affecting your timeline, and we can certainly discuss it. But that's where I'm thinking at the moment.